Finally back from vacation. Now that I'm nice and relaxed, it's time to jump back into things. Time to finally finish editing that October video. And then, hey, maybe it's finally time I get started on that second FNAF video. Gentlemen, this is what it's all about. This is what it's all for. The agonizing wait, the seemingly never-ending despair. Those sleepless nights where you just can't help but think, is it even worth it anymore? Being a Mega Man fan is a test of faith, all for moments like this. Holy shit. The timing of this announcement is jacking up my whole flow right now, so I'm gonna try really hard to get this one out the door while it's still topical and while I still can't feel my toes. Also, slightly sick, getting over it, but still a little scratchy, a little nasally, but I power through for you, Mega Man. I power through for you, buddy. So, for a quick recap. Early this month, Capcom released their 2025 integrated report, wherein COO Haruhiro Tsujimoto briefly talked about the company's underutilized IP. Basically, Tsujimoto acknowledged that Street Fighter, Monster Hunter, and Resident Evil are the main series that get all the love and attention, and see new releases very frequently from year to year, and that in order to grow Capcom, they need to nurture the other properties that they already have and, quote, grow these into core IPs. And he specifically name drops Ace Attorney, Devil May Cry, and Mega Man. Now, ignoring the fact that this kind of implies Capcom didn't consider Mega Man a core IP of the company until recently.
Mega Man! Have you heard of him? He kind of built your franchise!
This line gave a lot of Mega Man fans hope moving forward. Hope that we'd finally be seeing some big news sometime in the future. I didn't think it would take only 1 week, so now we have a trailer and a new Mega Man game to look forward to. I will say, it's still unclear if Dual Override is indicative of Capcom's new core IP approach, because a lot of people feel a little miffed that this game looks so similar to 11, despite how long the announcement took. But there is a very good reason for this. More on behind-the-scenes stuff later, but them's the breaks. What can you do? And honestly, I personally don't mind how this game looks, and I'm just happy to have more Mega Man. And while some people don't see too much difference between this and 11, the visuals here are slightly improved in ways that should be obvious to Mega Man fans. Actually, yeah, enough yapping. Let's get into the trailer analysis. For starters, the name. Mega Man Dual Override. Making this the first mainline Mega Man game to just drop the number and go all in on a subtitle. Kind of. In Japan, every numbered Mega Man game since 2 has also had a subtitle, but these subtitles were always dropped for the Western releases. This is not only the first time the subtitle has stayed for the Western localization, but also the first time that a primary entry in the series just didn't have a number. And yes, some people consider Mega Man Base to be mainline despite not being a numbered entry, and while it is pretty much a mainline Mega Man entry, it's also still definitively a side entry, considered less important. I mean, you're not going to find it in any of the collections, and internal ROM data actually indicates that during production, the developers considered it Rockman 8.5. Dual Override, on the other hand, despite not being numbered, is openly presented as the 12th mainline Mega Man game, with a big number 12 visible right at the start of the reveal, and the official Mega Man Twitter flat out calling it the 12th entry. Reportedly, it was even just called Mega Man 12 during development. And I do think we were long overdue for dropping the numbers. Honestly, I think 11 was probably the best time to stop, but whatever. And hypothetically, a number in the title would deter any would-be new fans from finally trying the series if they feel like they need to know what happens in all previous numbered entries. I don't know if there's any actual concrete data on that, but it's something I hear a lot, and it sounds reasonable to me. Our first real look at gameplay shows us a level that seems to take place at some sort of robot festival, or maybe just a nondescript festival and there just happens to be robots there because it's the future and robots are everywhere. Now, my immediate first impression was that this was a festival specifically for giant robots, and I still kind of think that that could be the case. There is this huge robot in the background, and also this giant red hand closer to the foreground, which at first I thought was for another big robot that like fell over or something, but you can see another identical red hand further in the background, and we see that they're actually not connected to anything. There's also this guy in the background, but I think he's just a building, since the Mega Man series loves putting eyes on stuff. Like this tram in the background. But still, that is a lot of machinery that's bigger than Mega Man, and one of the most intriguing things about this trailer is that you can see Gamma on screens in the background throughout the level, assuming that these are all shots from one level. Now, here's where that gets weird, because if you remember, Last year, Amazon released their video games anthology series Secret Level, which had an episode about Mega Man. And in it, Mega Man fights Bomb Man, but notably, Bomb Man wasn't roughly the same size as Mega Man like he is in the games. This version of Bomb Man was massive. And the reason they did this was because the character wasn't originally supposed to be Bomb Man. Concept art showed that this character was originally supposed to be Gamma. I bring all of this up because Proto Dude, who, if you don't know, I would describe as a veritable Mega Man industry insider. I don't know if that's an accurate way to describe him, but like, this guy knows things about Mega Man, sometimes stuff he's not allowed to say, and he's had his finger on the pulse for all things Mega Man for like more than 15 years now. On his Twitter, Brian says that Mega Man Dual Override was originally supposed to be announced much sooner, and says that Gamma's would-be appearance in both of these products is, quote, not a coincidence. What does that mean? Will Gamma serve a major purpose in Dual Override? Because it really sounds like there was supposed to be some kind of Gamma cross-promotion, but because Mega Man 12 wasn't ready yet, they had to replace Gamma in Secret Level with a new character by taking a Robot Master and spontaneously making him really big. Regardless, this little tidbit is why I think this level could take place at a big robot festival, because Gamma is a big robot. But also, at the same time, we only see one big robot at a time, and it very well could be the same one all 3 times. Like, here in the trailer, you can see that this one is standing in a spot that's identical to the first one, where he's, like, next to the building with the drill, and the building with the eyes, and the red hands, and the tramp. This could be a different location that just, like, copy-pasted and reused assets out of resourcefulness, but, I don't know. It's too early to say. I will say, if this is supposed to be a festival celebrating big robots, and Gamma is important to the plot, then I can see this being used as like an intro stage, which would be nice because we haven't had an intro stage since Mega Man 8. But I've also had another theory for this level, which over time I've been leaning more towards, and that's that this level probably belongs to some kind of firework-themed Robot Master. I don't know if this is a common theory, I haven't watched anybody else's analysis yet, but the stage has these hazards which look like they function identically to like the fire or thunder geysers from Mega Man 1, but appear to be spewing out firework sparks. And then there's this shot, which is so crammed full of fireworks that it's kind of insane. So obviously this is later in the level when it turns to nighttime, and you can see fireworks going off in the background. There's also these firework platforms which Mega Man can jump on if he moves fast enough. There's also this Pippi-type enemy, but instead of dropping an egg that hatches into small birds, it drops this ball, which releases 3 rockets. And finally, there's this weird bucket head enemy, which looks like some kind of firework launcher. It also looks like there's a second enemy inside of it who throws this sparkling ring that moves along the ground. And this is just a guess. I'm guessing when you destroy the red bucket enemy, he probably explodes and sends the smaller round one into the air, and he explodes like a firework, and maybe sparks rain down on you and you have to dodge them or something. That's just my immediate gut reaction looking at this guy. Another reason against the theory that this is an intro stage is that the level design just looks more difficult. Intro stages in classic Mega Man have always been super simple and usually just test the player on knowing the bare minimums like jumping and shooting. But let me ask, does this screen look like it's intro level material? Or even this long screen with all the pits and projectiles flying everywhere? It just looks more complicated, like a standard Robot Master level. Like, I don't think the game would open with this kind of level design. I mean, it could, and I wouldn't mind if the intro stage was this difficult, because I like my Mega Man games with a little bit of challenge, but personally, I don't think Capcom would go for that. So if I had to pick just one theory to stick to, it's that this level is for, like, Firework Man or something, and that it's probably not an intro stage. But if Gamma/giant robots are important to the plot, then the big robots in the background could just be alluding to that plot point and not specifically the boss of the level, if you know what I mean. Back to the trailer. I got a little ahead of myself since there's still some things in the very first shot that I want to talk about. The biggest thing being Mega Man himself, who has a whole new design. It's definitely similar to his 11 design, but there's some slight differences with like the seams and the smaller details. But the big thing is that his proportions have been slightly tweaked. Overall, he's been made slimmer and taller, his boots are especially bigger now, and the posing in his animations look much better. My biggest problem with how Mega Man looked in 11 was his awkward walk animation. At times it just kind of felt like he was like floating across the ground, but here he actually leans into his run and swings his legs in a way that feels very reminiscent of Mega Man 8. Also, here's a fun detail. Later on in the trailer, you can actually see Mega Man's model retain some damage, with these black scuff marks showing up and staying on his design. And that's a super fun detail we haven't really seen done in the series before, outside of like when he gets low on health and he starts like grabbing his arm, or I guess the octopus enemies in Splash Woman stage that paints you black. Another new thing in this first shot is when Mega Man runs forward, the camera actually pulls back a little bit. It's minor, but stuff like this really does add some dynamic flair. We don't see any camera stuff anywhere else in the trailer, and it could just be something added for the trailer, but I do really hope we get more dynamic camera stuff in the full game. Like, it's small, but it does make the visuals look ever slightly more interesting. The last detail I want to point out is that in a bunch of shots you can actually see this sun-looking symbol a bunch of times. I don't know whether or not this symbol is going to be narratively important, or like part of the story or something, or if it's just part of this level's visual identity and doesn't really mean anything. Mega Man 11 gave us the names of some in-universe companies, so maybe this symbol belongs to a new one of those. I think that would be really cool. If this level is for a Firework-themed Robot Master, then maybe the symbol could be of the company that commissioned/produced this robot. That's just my theory. I think that would be really neat. The trailer ends on two important details. One is that you can hear Proto Man's whistle, confirming that he'll be in the game and implying that he'll have an important role in the story. The other detail is that right before the logo appears, Mega Man's entire body vents open and releases steam. Now, I think that one or both of these details ties into the name Mega Man Dual Override. Either Dual refers to both Mega Man and Proto Man, and the game will be primarily about the two of them, or Dual refers to Mega Man's Double Buster. So, here's my big theory, right? In Mega Man lore, Mega Man can freely switch either of his arms between hand mode and buster mode, and he only ever uses one buster at a time, but exactly once he used both, and that was right at the end of Super Adventure Rockman, where he goes double buster to destroy Ramoon. There, Wily says that double buster is dangerous because it depletes his energy and causes him to overheat, which explains why Mega Man never does it, and the next time you see Mega Man he's passed out, though that could just be because a temple exploded and fell on him. In the Archie comics, this moment has more catastrophic effects on his body, and even in Smash Bros., Mega Man goes double buster for his up smash and his down smash, Spark Shock and Flame Blast, and when he does those attacks, these vents open up on his arms and shoot steam out. I think it's possible that Dual refers to Mega Man using the double buster, and since it's considered a dangerous technique that he maybe shouldn't use, Override refers to ignoring protocols and choosing to use it anyways. I think that could be why we see all these vents on him at the end of the trailer. Maybe in this game, Dr. Light adds more vents to Mega Man's body to better facilitate the use of double buster mode. I think this, or something like this, could be the primary gameplay mechanic of Dual Override, akin to the double gear system in 11, because think about what we don't see in this trailer. There's no double gear at all, and in the original reveal trailer for Mega Man 11, we didn't see the double gear there either, because they were keeping it a surprise for the next trailer. I think if Double Gear was coming back, they would have no reason to hide it, and we would have seen it in this trailer. And I don't think they would have dropped it completely either without replacing it with something new. So if I'm certain about anything, it's that we don't know what the main gameplay gimmick for Dual Override is, and Capcom will probably reveal it in the next trailer. Even if it's not Double Buster, I think there's definitely something. That's my personal theory. To close out the analysis, if I can say one thing that I want to see in this new game, it's that I want the series to start better acknowledging its own lore and history. This game is slated for 2027, which will be the year of Mega Man's 40th anniversary. These characters have been around for nearly 40 years, and I think they need to start acting like it. It's a good sign that Gamma seems to be coming back, but please don't let this game be just the one where Gamma comes back. I want this game to be the start of a new era for Mega Man. Let this be the game where everybody comes back. I mean, this game still looks similar enough to Mega Man 11. Use the Robot Master models from that game. I'm not saying make them boss fights again, I'm just saying it would be nice to see them in the game, like anywhere at all. At the end of 11, they were turned back to normal, so show us how they're doing. Or hell, show them getting their asses beat by the new bosses in the opening cutscene. I think that'd raise the stakes pretty well. Any cameo at all, please. This drill in the background reminds me of Drill Man. You mentioned Dr. Cossack in the last game. Please, tell me where Drill Man is. In other exciting news, Capcom is bringing back the Robot Master design contest. Exactly one lucky winner will have a Robot Master of their design used as a boss in an official Mega Man game. Plus, 5 runner-ups will get their names in the credits. This is the first time they've done the contest since Mega Man 8, and it's so damn cool that they're bringing it back again. super cool. But if you want to submit a design, you gotta move fast. Submissions close on January 1st, so you have less than a month. If you do submit, make sure you read the rules first. The Robot Master needs to have a long arm with suction abilities, and submissions are done through a Twitter hashtag. Dude, I have to submit for this contest. If I get a Mega Man OC into an official Mega Man game, I'll never shut up about it. For the rest of my life, I'll never shut up about it. It'll be my crowning achievement. But to wrap this video up, I do want to address some negative Nancys I've been seeing across the internet. Primarily people who voice sentiments like, whoa, we waited 7 years for this, or why did the sequel take so long if it was gonna look so similar? And why should we get excited when Capcom is just gonna take another 7 years after this? Look, I get it. This game's announcement took a long time, too long. But whining about it or complaining that things won't get better is not only unproductive, but doesn't even accurately reflect the situation that led up to this point. And again, shout out to Brian Protodude for reporting on this stuff. The situation with Gamma in Secret Level shows that Capcom really wanted to announce this game sooner, but just couldn't make it in time. It's not like Capcom was just twiddling their thumbs this whole time, they were hard at work. And as I alluded to before, COVID had major repercussions on the gaming industry, repercussions that are still being felt to this day. It didn't affect all projects equally, they didn't just all slow down. Lower priority projects like Mega Man 12, had to be put on hiatus indefinitely because their manpower had to be relocated to the higher priority projects. Remember, just this month, Capcom listed Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, and Street Fighter as their core IP, and basically admitted that Mega Man just wasn't as important yet. So if you're a company and your entire purpose is to make money, and you're nearing important deadlines for games that people are waiting for, why wouldn't you reallocate the developers of a less profitable series whose game hasn't even been announced yet? I mean, it sucks for us Mega Man fans, but that's just the way the industry works. And here's the thing. Sure, Capcom didn't make an announcement in a long time. I mean, they didn't have a new game to announce yet, but things weren't silent. The entire time since 11, Capcom constantly reaffirmed Mega Man's importance and were open about the fact that they were very carefully deliberating on what to do with him. Honestly, Capcom could have pumped out another sequel, but that's kind of what killed Mega Man the first time, right? Needlessly oversaturating an already formulaic series. So while I hate how long it took to finally get this game, at the end of the day, I am endlessly grateful that Capcom is choosing to be careful. I'm grateful that they want Mega Man to be as popular as we do. And they've been open about how, in the absence of new releases, they've been especially focused on keeping the brand alive. Think about how many collections and crossovers and merchandise Capcom has been releasing for the Mega Man series. It's because they want people to know about Mega Man, and they wanted more people to be excited for when that next Mega Man game was finally ready. I remember being really surprised when I first realized the wait between Mega Man 11 and 12 was getting almost as long as the wait between 10 and 11, and I chalked it up to being an adult because time just goes by quicker and I've got more stuff to focus on in the meantime. And I'm sure that contributes a little bit, but no, I maintain that the wait between 10 and 11 was literally worse than the wait for Dual Override. The early 2010s were hell for Mega Man. Inafune was leaving the company, cancellations left and right. Mega Man Universe was announced, all while the devs had no idea what the game even was. They didn't know what game they were making, and it was already revealed to the public. A gritty Mega Man X reboot was planned to try and pull in a new audience, all while Capcom was not catering to the audience that they already had and were actively losing. It felt like Capcom was trying to brute force the Mega Man series. At times it felt like they were embarrassed that they owned this series that they didn't know what to do with. They had no plan. But this wait was different. Capcom was careful this time. Since Mega Man 11, they knew they needed a plan. They were careful with how to proceed. Progress was slow, but methodical. People were mad and impatient, and still are, but Capcom still chose not to show their hand too early. Not too long ago, we had another series director leave the company, and that could have easily been the nail in Mega Man's coffin, but Capcom pressed forward. And now, here we are. Dual Override, Mega Man 12. The wait is over. And not just for a new mainline entry, we also have the Mega Man Star Force collection, a series that a small portion of the wider Mega Man fandom even cares about, getting a collection of source ports built from the ground up and hundreds, if not more than 1,000 redrawn assets. That's huge. I didn't think that would ever happen. Reprints of older comics, brand new comic series, official English releases of manga. Mega Man 11 was just translated into 2 more languages. We had a secret level episode not too long ago, and we might get another one in the future. And there's already word that Dual Override isn't the only Mega Man project planned for 2027. I get anticipating another Mega Man drought, but with all of these moves Capcom has been making, and with them coming straight out and saying that they want to elevate Mega Man to the same heights as their other IP, I don't think we have anything to fear. Personally, I think the Mega Man franchise is at the best it's ever been and shows no sign of slowing down. If you can honestly look at the series now and all you can say is, why can't Capcom make games faster, or where's the Legends collection, I think you need to learn to be less pessimistic. I actively choose to be optimistic because, damn it, Mega Man just makes me happy. You should try being optimistic because being hopeful just feels better. Mega Man is back. I'm happy to be back home working again. I feel good, and I'm looking forward to the coming year. Big plans. I hope you're as excited for the future as I am. I'm gonna start designing a Robot Master and maybe watch the Dual Override trailer a few more times. So with that, thanks for watching.